so much for everybody who's taking their time today. We're very happy to have you. Yeah, let's start. Okay, so welcome to our second webinar in our webinar series of 3. Today we talk about how to position yourself as an author to stand out, which is super important. We talk about today more of the technical sides, keyword, hashtags, categories. And this is not just important when you already wrote a book and want to publish a book. It's also important if you plan to write and publish a book. And we're going to show you why.
And I'm here to talk about the social media side of positioning yourself. And one way to do it is through hashtags and just having specific keywords that your audience would want to see and is searching.
So yeah, to introduce us, my name is Wiebke. I'm from Germany, from Berlin, Germany. I founded a self-publishing agency 3 years ago. I'm a self-publisher myself since 5 years. I hit the German self-publishing, with my first book, I hit the best-selling list in Germany. And this gave me the freedom to quit my day job in a PR agency in Berlin and went full-time writing. And during the pandemic, a lot of people, I gave some interviews and so on about my book and about self-publishing. And then during the pandemic, so many people asked me, hey, how did you do this? How did you self-publish? Can you help me? And so this is how my agency started. So I started coaching, and today I offer services from cover designs, layout designs, or the market analysis, which is super important. And we talk about today a little bit, and also marketing plan to help self-publisher really, to help self-publishing really, find their audience and make some sales and grow their readership.
So my name is Pooja Arshnapali. I am based in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm the founder of The Novice, where I first help authors or people who want to establish themselves as an expertise in their business, as well as I also help nonfiction authors use their books that they already have and be able to repurpose it into different mediums. So for example, if an author has a book and they have a speech that they want to present, I help use the book's content and the stuff that is within the book and be able to repurpose it into a speech that you're able to present.
So yeah, today we talk about the importance of position yourself so readers can find you, because keywords are the most important thing in self-publishing. You have to understand what a keyword is and how to use it, because you have to think about, here's your book, here are your readers, and the keywords are the bridge to you guys, and there are I think yearly 2 million books get uploaded every year through Amazon, self-published books. And this is so many books, and so many books are written, so many good books, so many not so good books. And you have to really understand what's your book about, what's your genre and everything to connect to your readers, and using those bridge to really leverage your publication. Because otherwise you just sink in an ocean of millions, literally millions of books. And there are also other retailers, not just Amazon. Think about Barnes and Nobles and Kobo. Kobo is more known in Canada, or in Europe, in Belgium, and the Netherlands. So you really need to understand who your audience is. And if you need support with this, for example, we had the first the first episode in our series, we talked about who your audience is, and I highly recommend going back there. We have a link for it, and we publish it on Amazon, on YouTube, sorry. And watch this, because this is kind of like the first step. You have to understand who your reader are, and then you also understand what are they searching for. Plus, you have to understand what's your book about, like which genre and which keywords are resonating with your audience.
I can skip that and then.
Yeah.
So basically what we're going to cover is what are keywords, hashtags, and categories, different case studies on the technical aspect and the importance of how to be found as an author, and how to determine the right keywords, hashtag, and categories for your book.
Yeah, and we start with really define what are keywords, hashtags, and categories. So keywords, yeah, keywords is basically a word or phrase. Like you can have like short keywords or long keywords. Like a keyword can be cookbook, or a keyword can be like how to write a book. So this is kind of like multiple words, but it's still one keyword, and it presents like a main idea or a topic which within your content. So and like I said before, the keywords is really a bridge to your readers. So you have to understand not even what's really your book about. And this sounds maybe just when I'm talking about, it's like, it's obviously, but when you've written a book and you spend months and months and months writing and thinking about it, it's sometimes hard to get some distance to your own publication and nail it down to like 7 keywords. Because you need, like for Amazon and for self-publishing, you usually need 7 keywords to really define your book, which can be hard. And for this is so important to really understand, your own position and set yourself up for to be found by others, and also understand how others searching, what people are looking for. And for this, we talk about some tools which you can use, because sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes people searching super obviously things which you probably never thought about.
So I want to discuss like what are hashtags, and in simple terms, hashtags are basically clickable links that users can discover related content. So for example, if I had a hashtag coaching, I can go and click on that link and I'll see all of the people who have used that hashtag, a whole list of different posts. And the intent is that a lot of that content is focusing on that same subject. And so when people are searching through certain things or searching through certain posts, you're more likely to be found based on that specific hashtag that you're using with that content, and it makes you more searchable organically through social media.
Yeah, categories are a way of organizing the content in different topics and groups and making it easier for users to find what they're looking for. Amazon has 16,000 categories. And again, it's so much information, and you really have to nail it down, like specifically what's your book about. This can be easy, especially for nonfiction. This can be a little bit more tricky for fiction, but niche your content down, be specific, helps you so much, like in position yourself to get found by other people, because especially if you're like a first-time author and you don't have like a huge audience, it's so important to set yourself or position yourself in a way that you make it easy for the Amazon algorithm to suggest your books to others, and make it easy for others to type in some keywords and hit you up with your own publication. So yeah, categories are super important. And also not just, there are like different kinds of categories, like main categories, like nonfiction, self-help, and then it goes down to subcategories. And a useful trick I found is when you set up your book, have a mix out of like general categories, like nonfiction, cookbook, whatever, and then go have like some subcategories and go like niche it a little bit down. Like, for example, cookbook for American women or cookbook for Germans between 30 and 40. Like, I don't know, like, but be specific and have like a mix out of like this general categories and something more specific helps you or helps the category algorithm to really help you and your book publication to be found. So yeah, let's talk about keywords and why the research is essential. So, and I'm said it before, like it's basically to get found and build this bridge between you and your readers, and improves your discoverability in Amazon and other book retailer online. This is also depend on your publishing strategy. You can go only through Amazon, but you can also like do like some international self-publishing. And to understand your keywords really helps you to reach your target audience, and also provides a competitive advantage to other self-publisher who may or may not even did like a keyword research. And just to also point out what's the difference between a keyword and a hashtag is, for example, keywords, you just have 7 keywords you can use. So you can play around a little bit over the months and use like a different kind of groups or sets of keywords, but you just have like 7 shots in the end. So you have to be specific. And with hashtags, for example, and Pooja and I just talked about before this recording, a hashtag, basically you can have, with every post and with every content, you can like play around with new hashtags, which you can't in self-publishing. So for this, it's super important to do your research in the beginning, and then over the course of your publication, also test it a little bit, like if this keyword's really working or not. Yeah, another very important thing is it's not sexy, but it's super helpful for the algorithm that you get found is like using the keywords in your metadata and in your title. Like not necessarily like you have usually one title and a subtitle, not necessarily in your title, but use a keyword in your subtitle because this helps tremendously to be found on Amazon. And especially for first-time authors, it's usually it's more appealing to have like a fancy or like very artsy title, which sounds amazing. But the disadvantage is often that the algorithm don't know what this keyword means if it's like too fancy. So and keywords usually are a little bit like down to earth. They're not really fancy. They're not really special. It's really just what people Google or like searching. And this is usually some very basic stuff like book. Honestly, they're searching something like book, nonfiction or so. So, and putting those keywords in the subtitle, like I said, really helps you to gain some traffic. Plus, putting some keywords in your SEO description text. And your description text is the text people read when they see your book on Amazon. It's like, have you ever thought about blah, blah, blah? And putting some different keywords in the description text also helps connecting with your potential readers. So yeah, now let's talk about a few strategy for your keyword positioning. And this can be hard, this can be easy, this can be hard, depends where you come from. Like if you have a background in marketing or social marketing, or you're self-employed or you're a business owner, you probably know how to do some keyword research because it's kind of like this daily your daily business, do some online marketing. So if you never had to do something with keywords, research can be a little bit tricky. But I suggest write down in the beginning, really nail it down. What's your book about? So what is the genre? What are the themes? What are the subjects of your book? And then going from there. And then maybe ask a friend or so and talk with someone, because it's always helpful, like talk it out, talk with someone and get some like distance ideas. Or best thing also would do, like hire some professional and they do it for you. But in order to find out like your genre and themes and subjects, to nail down your keywords, you can do a simple exercise, which I always use with my authors. So when you've written a book, try this, like take a piece of paper, take a pen and write down like a paragraph of what's your book about. Just nail it down, like half of a page, write it down, what's your book about. Don't overthink it, just do like a little writing exercise and nail it down. So after you have this paragraph, write down one sentence. Put it in like one sentence. What is your book about? And after you did this, use one word. Like, what's your book about? Use one word. And with this word, you can test it and use different kind of search engineering, like put this one word in Google Keyword Planner and get some other ideas for what people search around this idea. Or use Amazon, because in Amazon you can also, if you're on Amazon.com, you put in a search task list, you put in your one keyword, and then you also get some suggestions and you see, okay, what are people interested in? And so you get like a feeling of, okay, this is what I can offer and this is what people are searching for, and then you can build this bridge. Yeah, I think I talked already about this. So this is super important. Also use the keywords later in your subtitle and in your description text. So yeah, the Amazon algorithm for self-publisher. So Amazon really wants to help you, because Amazon would love to see that your book is a bestseller, because Amazon also makes money out of your book. So, and you have to understand how the algorithm works in order to make sales and to help Amazon, that Amazon can help you, basically. And how Amazon works is, or how the algorithm works is, when a publication like really hits some sales, and it needs to be like a few days in a row, not just one day and then another day nothing, and one day, it needs to have at least like 5 days in a row when your book is selling. And with like a slightly, you know, oh, I forgot how to say this, like every day a little bit higher your sales. And when you're able to do this over a certain period of time, then Amazon takes over and start to suggest your books to other readers within your genre. And you probably saw this before, like when you're on Amazon and you scroll down and see a book, and then you scroll down and see, okay, Amazon also suggests, or other people also buying this book. And this is basically Amazon algorithm took over and suggest your books to others. And you want that Amazon does this for you, because this is basically free marketing and drives some traffic to your book. But in order to get there, you really like the foundation have to be not perfect, but pretty good. Like the title, you need to have you have to have a good title. You need to have a good cover, but since we talk about in our next webinar, you need to have a good subtitle with keywords in. The description needs to be good, and you really need to have your group of keywords like really matching your content and what readers are searching for. Yeah, categories like I said before, it's also super important to be in the right categories that you can be found, and in order to increase the discoverability. And there's what we do when we work with authors. There's actually one kind of like a trick you can do, and you can set up the book for 10 categories. Before, like a few months ago, Amazon just allowed 2 categories, and that's changed this a little bit, I think since May or June. And now you have 3 categories where you can set your book. But there are other ways as well to extend this to 10 categories, which also helps you to really get found and have like a wider visibility. So determining the categories. Yeah, let's go over this list, and then I'll show you some examples how you can do like the keyword research in categories, and how exciting this can be, like to find the right keywords for you. So super important is choosing the right categories and keywords. This is super crucial for every self-publishing book. This is usually what a publisher does for you. And in self-publishing, this is your job as well. Secondly, understand your book's genre and theme. This sounds like super obviously, but believe me, when you written your book, you're like so deep in your own themes and subjects, it's kind of hard to have this distant view on your own publication. So I'm always encourage you, speak with other people about it, get some test readers, speak about it with a friend, or hire some professional to help you to really define who you stand as an author. Then research the Amazon categories option. We can also, like, I can show you in Amazon how to do this, and always have fun with it. Like, it's nothing more exciting as publishing a book, and like do this research in the beginning, and don't see it as like, oh, so much work, I don't want to do it. Have some fun with it, and also see what's all possible for you. And this is like, it's an amazing journey. And as more as you research and as more you understand where you stand, as better is it in the long run for your publication. Also, something super important, consider the niche and subgenre categories to really, especially as first-time authors. This happened to me actually with my first book. This was very niche down, and I did the bestseller list in Germany. And after this, I could quit my job and go full-time writing. And this happened because I really hit a niche where I was the first one to, not the first one, but maybe I had like 2 or 3 other people who talked about the subject. And this gave me a huge advantage because I had no audience, nothing. I think I didn't even have like an Instagram account. And this is super important. Niche down, find subgenres, and if you can, like really write your book about something niche-y. And another tip I want to give you, like even before you start writing, do some research and try to understand what the market wants, which kind of niche are still available, where you can publish, and so on, because this gives you a huge advantage to later get all your investments back, because publishing costs money. Either you hire a self-publishing agency or not, but it's always costs money, like the editing, proofreading, layout design, and so on. Yeah. Another important thing is pay attention to the customer author board, this section on Amazon, and you see kind of your competitor. And I think I forgot number 4, analyze best-selling books in your genre to get a feeling about what people want. Also how the cover looks like, how's like the overall appearance of these books. Select appropriate categories, and always test and monitor your performance. Like I said, you have a set of 7 keywords. after your publication is out there, like, measure it for 3 months and then maybe do like another set of keywords and measure how this goes. Same with pricing. Some books which are too cheap actually don't sell good. Some books which are too expensive don't sell good. So you really have to also find the middle ground for your genre.
Okay, I'm gonna stop my share and then
Yeah.
you.
Okay, so I want to show you something, how you can find the keywords. And use some tools. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you ever heard about Answer the Public. This is an amazing tool to understand what people are searching for and what they're looking for. And here you find keywords and you find phrases which you can put in like your book description text to be found and test the keywords. So I prepared it before a little bit. So the website called answerthepublic.com. Highly recommend testing it out after our call. You put in here some keywords. Make sure you put in the country and the language. Because you can also search for like UK. If you have your target group is mainly in UK, you can search here for UK. Or if your target group, if you write in Spanish or so, you can also look for Spanish-speaking people in the US, what they're searching. So it's an amazing tool for all kinds of countries and languages. So you put in here your keyword, which I put self-help workbook, and then they're calculating it for you. And you have here like an amazing overview and see what people are searching. And you see here like the volume of searching, like more people searching Will Young self-help book. Does self-help actually work? Is self-help effective? And so on. And you get an idea what people are interested in, why self-help books is important. And you see this is kind of a long keyword, but you can use this perfectly for example, as the first question in your description text, like on Amazon. Like, for example, have you ever wondered why self-help books are important? So this is kind of like a little bit smushed in keyword in your description text. So you get an idea here what people searching, and then you can use those keywords and check it in Amazon. And you can also scroll down, you get a lot of data here. And also you can get some ideas. If you just starting writing a book, you can get some ideas what people are looking for and what you maybe can offer with your own knowledge or expertise, and do some brainstorming with this. So I highly recommend this tool. So let's say we have a keyword and it's self-help workbook. So we go on Amazon and we put in here self-help workbook. And when we do this, usually you get here also some suggestions. So this is also like an amazing tool for okay, people also are interested in this. And I just put in, use this keyword and see what's coming up. So yeah, and I see, okay, all those books are also using these keywords, and I get like a little bit of feeling who's my competition, what are they actually publishing. It's always super interesting for me. Like, is this a paperback? Here's obviously no ebook. Here's an Audible, like a paperback and audiobook. It's just paperback, here's in hardcover, and so on. It get a little bit of feeling of like what the market is showing you. And here you also see like the different kinds of categories. So if I click on this book, for example, go a little bit down, and I see here the bestseller ranking. place 85, which is amazing. And I can see, okay, click here a little bit on the different kind of categories and get a feeling of, okay, what is Amazon all offer? What are the other competitor in my genre? What is my genre actually? And you know, and just get a feeling for your own target group. And then here you always have a list. This is kind of like the subgenre of like a bigger genre, obviously from self-help, because like different subgenres, and you just click around and get a feeling for it. And another thing I want to share with you and show you is what we actually do when we work with authors. So we have a software, and we work, you know, we put the keywords in our software before we start. Like, it depends on the author, like if they're already published or not, but you can see here, I put in the keyword self-help workbook, and our software shows me how many people searching for it per month, how the competitor store is, and which kind of other like similar keywords are used in this genre. And what's amazing is, like I see here, okay, this is like so many people searching for. Here, my competitor store, and here I see, okay, this is actually like self-help workbooks for kids. There are so many competitors. I don't know if I really want to like position myself in this category, but I see here self-help workbook for queef. Here's actually not so many like competitor. It has less a monthly earning than, for example, like self-help workbooks for women, or like in general, this self-help just workbook, but it's still an amazing opportunity to, position yourself and niche it a little bit down. Or another I saw before. Yeah, or here, where it's also like, it's a little bit higher, but it's not super high, like self-help workbooks for teen. But you kind of like, in the end, you want to find something like this. You want to niche down, and you want to find like position yourself in using keywords like this, where the search volume is high but a low competitive store. And this is really helps you and your publication to, you know, to be seen. And another thing I want to show you, like if I click on this keyword here and do the competition analysis, and I see here, okay, how many sales this book makes, how's the price, and so on, which is super interesting if you're publishing. And then I also see the categories where this also position themselves, and they also used 10 categories, you know, just like the suite of Amazon. So this is just to give you an idea what's all possible and how you can use data and to see that a keyword is not just like a phrase, you know, and a word. It's really like, it's really can help you to make your book like a bestseller, or don't even get any sales in. Like, and it really depends on how to position yourself, how to use keywords, categories, and so on. And even before you start writing, to understand what the market is looking for, what they want, is a huge, huge advantage for you as an author.
Okay, so I think like whenever I talk about hashtags, it's usually I think a lot of people are very confused with hashtags in general. Some people may not know like what are hashtags, why use them, and how do I know if I'm using it effectively? So those are the different questions I'm going to address and how you can utilize it for the different books that you want to promote. So the first thing is what makes hashtags important. So usually on social media, a lot of the platforms, when you want to reach a new audience, you tend to have to pay to play or use paid ads to get in front of a new audience. So one way to be able to be found to a new audience is using hashtags. And when you become more found, you become more searchable. And I know that there are some platforms on social media where you can search a specific hashtag and it's kind of used as an SEO. Um, and that's another way you can be found on social media. And another way, and I think this is specifically for books, is that you can create like your own hashtag and kind of create your own branded hashtag. So you can easily use this for different promotional material, such as like giveaways that you're doing, different book launches that you're doing, or different deals that you're doing. But I would say that this is a little bit of a caveat. So whenever you're creating a specific hashtag, I would just to keep in mind that the hashtag that you're creating is full reign for anyone to use it. You don't own it. So whenever you're creating your own hashtag, make it specific and make it specific that someone else there would be no reason for someone else to use that hashtag. So now that I explained what is the purpose of a hashtag, I'm going to give you an example of like how to start with hashtags before you just so I think it's like I think people just want to just create like just on the fly create different keywords or different hashtags, and I'm here to first do the research before you even start just putting hashtags there and testing out certain keywords. So here are a couple of questions that you should answer. Is the first thing is, who is your current audience and what platforms are they currently using? So when it comes to social media, I don't think it's beneficial for you to use all the platforms. Use the ones that where your audience is most engaged and which platforms are the most effective for the book that you're trying to promote. When it comes to nonfiction, this is just a suggestion. I would say that generally Facebook, LinkedIn, and then sometimes Twitter, if it's more political, that are good ways to use to promote your book. But really, you have to look in your past analytics to make sure that you know where your most engaged audience is at. But I would say, like, if you're just starting out, this is just a quick reference on what platforms are good for nonfiction authors. The next thing is, what is your book about and what does your audience want to learn from your book? So for different types of books, let me give you an example. Like if you're a business coach and you're writing a book on how to get your first sale or how to scale your business, it's kind of like, I think a lot of the people who are reading it may not know that they need a business coach, or they may not realize like some of the things that they're doing. So if like you could easily put hashtag business coach, but I don't think necessarily everyone is aware that they need a business coach. So that hashtag may not be as effective versus like if you're a life coach and you put hashtag mindset or hashtag self-improvement, it could work in your favor because you're kind of looking through all of the you're like looking at the different emotional needs and pains and motivations that people are not disclosing right off the bat, and you're kind of using that as a hashtag because people are not they're not necessarily ready to buy right off the bat. They may need time on like because like for social media, you definitely need to provide value upfront in order for someone to want to invest in you, and it kind of builds trust. So if you're using hashtags that revolve around your audience's emotions and needs, it definitely helps you become more searchable to the people who are just deciding, but they need more trust building. Another thing is, what is the common terminology and language that your audience uses? So in the last webinar, I talked about different research things. So like different ways to research your audience. And one thing that I suggested is going through Facebook groups within your target audience and like just searching common questions that they use and just like making note of the common keywords, terminology, things that they use, and being able to use that. You can also be able to use that as hashtags or terminology, or use that to your advantage to create better hashtags. Because if I think that people tend to search around the same thing, it's a lot more simplistic than you realize. So I would definitely use this as a starting point. And because I think a lot of the times hashtags, like if you're just trying to figure out like what are good keywords, it can be hard to understand what type of keywords right off the bat. And I think that just being able to go back to common terms that your audience is already using, that's a really good starting point. Another thing is what we've talked about in this webinar is like going through Google and also Amazon search results. That's another way to look for good keywords, because I would say that you're going to find it may not be exactly the search results of Amazon, but they're going to be around the same thing. However, there is a caveat. I think like when it comes to Amazon, usually the purpose or the intent is to buy. So I would definitely go on different platforms like Google, because Google, I don't think necessarily everyone is there to buy. They're kind of in, because when it comes to like that marketing funnel, some people are still in the awareness phase, some people are ready to buy. So when you are creating hashtags or it should align with the content you're creating and the intent of what that content is. So if you're creating promotional content, you're probably going to have hashtags that are more related to sales, versus like if you're providing value, maybe like more mindset or emotional things that are targeting the people who are in the awareness stage. So this is the different types of hashtags. So I'm going to explain to you the different types of hashtags. These types of hashtags, I did not coin the terms. I learned this from a video. It's her name is Vanessa Lau, and she kind of disclosed the different types of hashtags so you understand what type of things that you should be looking for. So the first one is called an industry hashtag, and I would say this is the most like the basic hashtag. It's a broad, very generic hashtag. So for example, if you're a life coach, your hashtag could be hashtag life coaching. They're very generic, and I think it's similar to like what we were talking about in the Amazon search results. You really don't want to go too broad. It's kind of like the Goldilocks syndrome, where you don't want things too broad, but you also don't want things too specific, where like you want something that is specific, but also has a demand as well. And I think that's similar with hashtags as well. So it brings me to my next one, where it's the niche hashtag. So if you're a life coach, you could put self-improvement tips. So I'm going to give you an example. So I think Instagram has a better way of explaining this. So right now I have hashtag business coaching, and you can see that on Instagram, there's over 2 million people posting, and it's not just like total posts. This is 2 million posts at this specific time. So it's like the volume of traffic. So your post is probably not going to be seen because the amount of people posting at the same time. So let's put self-improvement tips. Okay, so self-improvement tips, it's still a lot. There's like 30,000 people posting, but it is a lot more specific. And so you're able to get more found. So the one right after it, it's called hashtag self-improvement tips daily. There's 277 posts. So this one is too specific where you may or may not get someone to reach you. But it, like, just keep in mind within hashtags, I would definitely like, it's always like you always have to test your hashtags because it's gonna be really like maybe the 277 could work, but it really depends on your audience. But if you're just starting out, I would definitely look at the volume on Instagram to see like how specific. But if you're on different platforms, they may not give you the specific traffic. But I would definitely just like search the hashtag and see how many people are posting on it and like what type of content you're seeing on the like, and does it resonate with what you're posting as well. And then the last post is post specific, and this is relating back to a specific post. So for example, if you're a life coach and you're talking about your business, and you're providing like a tip on like life coaching, you could put a hashtag called Harmony Coaching Tips. And this is basically kind of like you yourself branding your own company. And this could also apply in book marketing as well. Like you could provide a tip from your book and just put like the book's title with tips or like your company with tips. And then when people are searching you, they can easily click that hashtag and it'll have like if you continue to use that hashtag, it'll showcase a chain of all the posts that you have created based on that hashtag. So it's kind of giving people another way to search you or another way to engage with your content organically. So another thing is I'm going to focus more solely on LinkedIn, but I think a lot of this can be applicable to other platforms. I'm going to showcase how to optimize your hashtags on LinkedIn more effectively so you're getting the best results you can. Okay, so I'm going to go to my profile. So you can see that under the headline, there's like 5 different hashtags. And this is what you can access. Like you can have up to 5 different hashtags, but you have to be on creator mode in order to access those hashtags. And when you do that, you're able to be more searchable. So like, let me put in hashtag book marketing. So obviously it's because it's my page, I'm going to be the first post, but because I put hashtag book marketing, I'm able to see everyone who has all the who use the hashtag book marketing in their posts. So like you can see I have hashtag book marketing, and then someone that I currently follow also has hashtag book marketing, but it's also not just the hashtags itself. If you click on people, there's also like this user doesn't have any hashtags within book marketing, but the title or the headline that she has book marketing, has the keyword book marketing in it. And then there's like also companies with book marketing as well. So even if you're using the hashtags, just using the keywords and making it close to the hashtags will help you in the long run, because specifically with LinkedIn, it's not just the hashtags that are getting like found, like through the hashtags, like even regular words through posts, through headlines, through the title of your company are also getting found through LinkedIn just through searching a hashtag. And so just to make sure, like, even if you don't utilize the hashtags, make sure that a lot of your keywords are same throughout your whole profile, so you're able to be searched more compared to the competitors that you have within your connections. So the next thing is how to optimize hashtag on your LinkedIn posts. So when it comes to LinkedIn, or just like posts in general, I think like for LinkedIn right now, like I think at a time it was like to one way was to like utilize all the hashtags or be able to put as many hashtags as possible so you're able to increase your reach. I think now, right now, LinkedIn is prioritizing 4 hashtags. And the second bullet is I have like industry, which is the different types of hashtag, having 1 industry hashtag, 2 niche hashtags, and 1 post specific. You don't have to follow this to a T. What I'm trying to get at is more of like just mix up your hashtags. If you don't, because it's very hard to know right off the bat what are the most effective hashtags for your specific book, for what you're trying to offer. So just starting with a mix of different hashtags can help you just test out what works and what doesn't. And another thing is, like I said before, just like searching the hashtag and seeing, like, just observing what type of posts people are seeing and the content that you're seeing. And just to make a note of like, does that hashtag resonate with the content that I'm posting as well? And that has also helped me because some of the hashtags, yes, they have really good like they have really good volume where it's not too broad, but it's also not very specific. But the content doesn't really resonate with who I'm trying to target. So it was not really helpful for me to use that hashtag.
So, yeah, how to position yourself so you'll be found. So let's like wrap it up. The next few minutes, what we talked about today. And so, yeah, so in order to be found, use relevant keywords in your book's title and description. This is super important, and this helps you tremendously. Choose the right categories for your book. Do some research, get a feeling about the market, and place yourself in the right categories and within your genre. Use relevant hashtags on social media, like Pooja just said. Have a mix of general, niche down, and specific hashtags on social media. Participate in book-related communities. Facebook is amazing for this, actually. Facebook groups, engage, find a Facebook group, which is also your target group, and really start engaging with the community there. And collaborate with other authors or influencers and do like marketing. Book marketing is like you can do so much. Basically, do interviews or do a podcast, write an article or so on. Like you have to be a little bit creative at the end, but yeah, collaborating with other people is always like a big plus. So the do's and don'ts of position your book is absolutely the don'ts is publishing the wrong categories. Like, it's like would be nonsense, and you also can like not publishing at all, because for example, if you wrote like a self-help book and you place yourself in like the cookbook genre, obviously people are not interested in your specific genre then. Also a no-go is no keyword research at all. Just put in some keywords you think they could match. It's like, because you're always surprised how simple people searching. And Pooja said this also for social media. I also notice this in like the keywords for Amazon and so on. As an author or a creator, we think too complicated. But in reality, what people are searching for is super simplistic. And we have to get, do some decent keyword research to really understand what people are looking for. And then also a no-go is like publish in the wrong niche for various reasons. It's the same like with wrong categories, because you're just like placed wrongly, and then you try to pitch the wrong target group. So what you can do is really understand the genre you are in and do the exercises I mentioned before. Understand your own genre, get some help if you need, also use the right categories, put some keywords in your title and subtitle. This really helps the algorithm, and use keywords in your description text to be found.
And I'm going to talk about the different things that you should and shouldn't be doing to position yourself on social media. So the first thing is, I think, like, as I said before, don't overload the hashtags. I don't know if necessarily I think at a point that hashtags using as many as hashtag was effective, but I don't think it's as effective as it is now. Another thing is don't rely solely on trending hashtags. So I think, like, when I say trending, it's more the industry hashtags. I think people tend to go very broad, because it's kind of like an afterthought when you're creating hashtags. So I think it's really important to figure out the research, doing the research of just like I said, maybe just going like as your starting point, going through Amazon and Google and seeing the search results from there and seeing like what are the common key terms that people are searching and how can I utilize it, and what, like, just start testing out hashtags and seeing the volume of traffic and observing like what type of content you're seeing that people are posting on those specific hashtags, and seeing if that works with the type of people you're trying to attract. Another thing is, for the do's, is always test your hashtags, because I think for social media, like every post, like the algorithm always changes. So when people see a post, it's very hard to determine how long they see that specific post. So you're always having to provide quantity, the amount of quantity of posts, and trying to be consistent. So you may not, like, don't be set on a specific hashtag because the algorithm could change and it may not be as effective. So just always test things. Don't feel like you have to be stuck on a certain hashtag because you're like, this is the best hashtag. And so, like, but always just try to be flexible when it comes to certain things, because you may not necessarily think that this hashtag may work, but until you test it, it may be effective within your marketing plan. Another thing is use specific and niche hashtags. So when you're starting out, like I said before, use specific hashtags where it's specific enough for a target, but also has a demand as well. And it's a lot easier to be found when you have a niche on social media. And the last one is to create branded hashtags for your business. So it's specifically for authors, like creating promotional material, different services you want to offer, things like that. It's really good for branded hashtags, because it's very easy for people to click on that branded hashtag and be able to see all of the posts that you've posted before and be able to engage with it, as well as, like, if you wanna do, like, certain giveaways, being able to tell someone, like, "Hey, use this specific hashtag." um, it's really easy to, like, also to search that hashtag and see the people, underneath that hashtag as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time today. And anyone, any questions for us? So we have another webinar, the third webinar in this series, and then we talk about branding and how important the cover design is, the content on social media, which elements to use, and so on. So this is going to be November 9th. And yeah, we would love to see you again and hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.